Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and it feels good to be back. It's time to start the Championship Series 2, and we're live with a pro split race from the Temple of Speed that is Monza. Will it be dry or will it be wet? Who knows, but there is one thing for certain. It was certainly going to be fast. My name's Dan Terry, and I'm joined this evening by Gareth Ronda as we run through this weekend's action from the previous 3 splits that we've had in the build-up to our pro split round 1. How are you doing, Gareth?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very excited to see the top split and how that goes, and I've been enjoying some casual watching of the races so far.
Excellent. Yeah, it's been really good to get back into the swing of things, and just get back into the rhythm of things. We're in such a rhythm in season 1 with the amount of stuff we were getting done and the amount of streams we were putting on. We've not really been here much this month, or for the past month, have we? But now, yeah, good to be back and good to get the flow going again.
Absolutely, it's nice to have regular stuff as well. We've had the GT4 championships, which did start on time, which has been a lot of fun as well. But yeah, it's been a bigger gap than we expected, and it's felt like it.
Yeah, exactly. It's been like hard to kind of find a rhythm of just getting things going to the quality that we want them to go, and yeah, it feels good to be getting that sort of business going again. But now we're there, and now everything's ready to go. We should be on top of it. So let's. I am looking at the sound, and I am adjusting the sound because I've seen a few people commenting on it. Let's have a little look as we chat. You can comment on it, but I am changing it in the background and trying to make me a bit quieter and Gareth a bit louder, so that it should even itself out. I'm just very excited. That's all it is. Just very excited to be back. It's been such a long time coming. So how are you doing all in the chat, ladies? There's going to be loads of new ones in there this evening. So if anyone feels like moderating the chat, feel free. Our moderator should be about. Lars said he might pop into the chat as well and do a little bit of moderating. So if you get any new drivers, obviously the sign-up link is now gone as we have temporarily closed our doors while we build up the quality of the pretty much nearly 250 new people we've had in the past month alone.
It popped off recently. It was kind of crazy seeing all the extra names come in after that Reddit post that we did.
Yeah, I think it was like 140 in one day, which was just absolutely crazy. But yeah, so if you're new to the chat, want to know any questions, got any questions you want to ask, feel free. We kind of we look at the chat and acknowledge it and interact with it as we get time. But yeah, like I said, it's good to be back. So we're going to start as you can saw in the little box on my which way is it? Left. That's my left. But you're right.
Sort of mental geometry to try and figure out where to move my camera, mate. Yeah,
it's been a long time, but you're left and my right. Yeah, my left, you're right. Anyway, as you can see, they are in free practice at the moment, so we're going to use this time to go over we had the AM split start on Friday, bronze and silver start on last night. So we're going to have a little catch up on them. But the big important news and the most important thing of the stream is Moobot needs a new daddy. Webb was Moobot's daddy last month. Unfortunately, that has now run out, and he now doesn't have access to any of the emotes that he needs for his messages. So if anyone wants to gift a sub to Moobot and become Moobot's daddy in the Discord for the next month, they're more than welcome to. But I'll move on from that before Julian shouts at me for promoting. Let's have a little look at the questions. So no, the streams aren't. Last season they were every split, and we got a little bit burnt out getting every split. So we're just going to do pro split this season and see how that goes, and then reevaluate it at the end. So you're only going to see the pro split action. We have had quite a little bit of fun this week in the Discord though, with live streaming, just casually live streaming in our lounge voice channel on a Friday night and Saturday night. Just someone spectating, so you can have open chat with some of the admins, some of the moderators, some of the other drivers in the other splits as well, and just have a chilled, relaxed evening with some beers and some more expletives than come out of our mouths. is the best way to do it. But anyway, going back to Friday. So Friday was the start of AM split. We had 2 races in Monza, and their format looks like the following. Let's have a little look. So it's 30-minute free practice, 15-minute qualification, and 2 20-minute races. And that led into qualification with Ian Clift in the Mercedes AMG putting in an absolute stormer of a 1:49.1 to grab pole. And I mean, talk to me about that lap, Gareth.
We've definitely had. There's been a lot of talk in the Discord as well about people being amazed by the speed of some of our lower split drivers. There's always going to be a few that perhaps could be in different splits from just the evaluations races we've got, but we also see some people, and this has happened before in the league, who, when they're out front, can be supremely confident and do those incredibly fast laps, but they don't have the consistency in racing that you need to be in the top splits. So seeing some of these people cliffed slightly, but especially some of the people we'll talk about in later splits, it's going to be very interesting to see them next week when they have a bit more of a challenge. I can't actually remember how Clift lost his position on the second race, but he won one of the races and Morale won the other race.
Yeah, I think if we move, so the ones from qualifying, like I said, Clift, Morale, I believe Garda's new as well. I don't recognise. Well, the top five are essentially all new drivers for this season, and then we've got the regulars of Murphy and Rayner putting in a show. The Rayner fan zone squad was well and truly in that lounge chat on Friday night. And then the one that interested me most, Norman Bruce, fell from the top to the bottom, and to the lowest split, and has found a little bit of consistency sitting in the mid table. If we move into the race though, Ian won this race. Moral was, if I believe it was this race or the race 2, Moral was in the lead for the majority, and then next thing I remember seeing was an absolute smashed up front of a Lamborghini. And yeah.
I remember this is also the race where our favourite Adam Reynolds was in third or even second at some point, I believe, but got a penalty for an extra aggressive move on second place, where he dived him into Parabolica.
Yeah,
which was a big talking point.
Yeah, our steward
very fun race.
Our steward on that incident was very stern with his punishment, and that dropped it. But Zach Morgan also had a 10-second penalty, and he was above Adam at the time. So Johnny Murphy definitely picking up places with that. And as you can see as well, we've got a new point structure. So last season, every driver got points from first to last. Now it's only the top 15. The top 15 will get points. Everyone else, that's the aim to reach.
It does make it a bit harder for people at the back to fight as much. You still get, positions will change in the standings based on what positions you got, but I do really like having the sort of cut-off points that can really make you fight for that position. And also, I am a big fan of having the point stagger as you get close to the front. We don't have it quite as much as you do in most leagues, again, because we want to keep sort of the fighting as much as possible. We want to keep you being able to come back in such a short season as well. But
yeah, definitely, it's nice that everyone gets an opportunity. That's why it's probably not such a big points haul. And like I said, you can definitely get back up if you had a bad race. And I mean, everyone loves to talk about incidents. I mean, T1 was pretty clean across both races for the AM split, and it's the running joke already that AM split is the cleanest split of all the 4 ones we've got so far.
Friday is blessed with the clean driving.
But if we talk about one incident in particular, we're going to have to talk about the return to desktop from one driver who then ended up stopping immediately on the start-finish straight and just catching 2 or 3 drivers. Just a car just stopped in the start-finish straight.
I believe that wasn't that Bruce in race 1.
I was going to be kind and not mention a driver's name, but yes, it was.
Because he went to desktop, and he did what is, I'd say, normally a reasonably smart thing to do, which is to go, I can't see the game, but I can hear that it's running, so brake to stop so that I don't hit anything. Unfortunately, he was on the main straight, so that didn't quite work. But in race 2, as they're about to move to, he did manage to get 8th place, so he picked it up. And it's really good to see him getting to race, because he was, as you say, in top split, and he was just outpaced. It was a mistake for him to be in there, and he did okay, but he was just not really getting to race anyone. Getting to see him here, actually getting to race people and have a good bit of fun is good, and I hope he enjoyed it after having his problems in the first race. Yeah,
definitely. And like I said, as we move over into race 2, we see Moral and Clift, like I said, still sitting at the top. Strom, good drive from him to get himself on the podium. Morgan again. I think Morgan, Murphy, Rayner, they're going to be the battling 3 across pretty much most of this in the fighting for the podium positions. Like we said, then we've got Bruce. And
our own man Lars in 10th place.
Lars Karlstrop, top 10 for the first time ever. What a hero. Absolutely fantastic. He got it early as well, following a few incidents on the first couple of laps, and we thought, oh, he's got it now. Can he keep it? But no, he did manage to keep it. But yeah, that's effectively the AM split. Let's have a little look.
Young Monica got a point as well. It's good to see.
Let's have a little look at the bronze split. Let's go to bronze split. So results. Here we go. So bronze split then. You watched this. I didn't watch this because I drove in the silver. So I'm going to let you take the lead on the conversation, and we'll start at qualifying.
It's so Rob, yeah.
Yeah, well, just a sort of general point for the whole of this split, honestly, is that as we had last time, we had a lot of two people up at the front really leading the race. We saw that in the last series. And in this, it was Fabien Pionnet, I believe it is. It's a French name. I believe it's Pionnet.
You said French, but he's got a German flag next to his name.
Yeah, but I did the look for this. It is a French name.
Oh, fair enough.
And I believe it is Pionnet. But he, no matter how he said, was fast as all hell. He qualified first with an incredible lap time, and he led both races and just soared off. Didn't even meet anyone else for seemingly the whole event. So super fast from him.
So basically we chat to Leonard and tell him to reevaluate him.
Yeah, he's the one who will definitely see hopping up a split or two in the future if he continues this. Like I said before, we could always have one of those situations where he's great leading from the front, hot lapping. A lot of people practice a lot of hot lapping, but aren't in the race. So.
And the thing is, obviously, round one across season 1, season 2, we noticed a lot of inflated times from a lot of drivers, just due to the fact that there was so much practice time. And like I said, now it's literally you've got a week on the practice server, or you can do your own practice obviously as well, but you've literally got, some of you haven't even got a week, you've got 5 days effectively, because the server will transfer over tomorrow morning to, where are we going? Zolder. So effectively you've got 4 days essentially to practice for the Friday drivers. And
shout out as well to John Turner, another fan favourite who's been in from season 1. 2 consecutive second places in this split, which was really good to see.
Yeah, who had a good solid drive for you? Like I said, I don't know. I can't really comment on this race because I never saw. I heard that my teammate Webb was doing quite well, then binned it. I can't remember if that was race 1 or race 2.
In race 2, managed to get himself up to 6th position, and in race 1 he'd had decent pace in the lower point scoring, but then he missed his braking point at turn 1 and went straight into the wall. An incredible crash. Ruined his car and had to pit down to 22nd or something. Unfortunate. But good signs for him. He's just got his steering wheel and pedals, obviously, so as he gets more used to that, he'll be able to start braking more consistently and not having some of those problems.
Yeah, exactly.
You also saw a couple of people that I'm used to racing in the last season split. People like Bartkus and Hamiao, who both managed to have some decent performances over the 2 days. Martin Brenning having a good day. And Julio Rodriguez, who is my favourite driver from that split because I really like saying the name Rodriguez.
Now, the one that I was looking out for, and it's in secret, but in the background, was Tweeby Robowski, because long story short, he was in this first league that me, Bloomfield and Webb all raced in on Project Cars 2 before we came over to AC. So I was like looking to see how he would translate. He looked like he had maybe an incident in race 1, but had a better race 2. But the one I want you to talk to me about is how, because you mentioned it to me last night before I went off, how did someone get very near the 6 penalty points in 2 races?
Oh, do you know what? So I looked this up afterwards. There were actually, in that split, 2 people with 5 penalty points and 1 person with 4.
Yeah. And apparently they're so I was about to say they're the cleanest split, but no, that's Friday. I'm a day ahead of myself.
Yeah. So there was a lot of incidents. Obviously, I believe it is just a rule that you get 2 penalty points for incident on the first lap, because we're trying to keep first laps as clean as possible.
Yeah.
And so if you aren't good in the first lap and you have incidents in both races, that's 4 points already. And a couple of people had an incident in the first lap, and then a big incident later, and then a small incident later, and that's already 5 points. So there's a couple of people skirting those qualification bans, and I'm sure we'll start seeing some coming out. Probably in round 3, we'll see 1 or 2.
Yeah, so I think, like I said, Fabio getting wins in both races, Turner getting 2 in both races as well. Just like overall fantastic. Like I said, Martin doing really well. He was a late addition. He was in, I think he qualified silver split, and then obviously recognised that he was nowhere near the pace of that split and asked to move down. But because he's one of the trusted members in the community, and we have also been racing in the practice server with him, we recognised that actually the split he was put in probably wasn't right. And that's sort of an advocate to you guys in the community, really, is if you feel that they've, after following the evaluation race procedure, that you feel that you've been placed too high, too low, feel free to come and speak to Steve or Vermwas or whoever you know him by, or any of the other mods or admins or stewards, and they can have a look at the statistics at the end of the day, because the statistics are what we go off of, and we race with some drivers more than others, and we watch some drivers more than others. So we do get it wrong. It's very rare, but it does happen. But yeah, let's move on then. So that's coming up as silver. Okay, that's just a bug. For some reason it's called silver split. Right, let's have a look at the actual silver split. Let's bring that up. Championship.
The actual silver split was an interesting one again, where we saw a few of the people in silver split who were at the bottom of top split last season and were dropped down, and it seems like the right place for them because they've been doing very well. I believe Eric Groom, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, fantastic try.
Definitely Stefan Bunatix, who another person who didn't do as well in the top split, missed a few races as well.
Groom was in the
excellently.
Groom was in the Saturday split last season. Like the same one as me, but he wasn't that fast. Like, he's clearly put practice. But
yeah,
the one thing I want to point out, which someone in the chat just has, right? So Eric Groom, P1, 148.135. Me, P20, 149.166. The whole top 20 were in 1 second of each other. Like, it was in the actual. I was like, it's the fastest I've ever been. I was like, this is great. I'm 8 tenths faster than ever, and I was like looking at top 10 anyway. Finishing P20, I'm like, what?
As we said, we won't get everyone in the right split, but
this split
is definitely proof that most of them are in the right split. It's done incredibly well. Shout out to the Shingle brothers and all their help for managing to get this so close, because it was incredible seeing it.
Yeah. This, like, the qualifying in this split alone was like completely nuts. Like, the track was a lot quicker. I found anyway, as the track was a lot quicker in here than it was on the practice server. So like, literally my banker lap, where I had mistakes anyway, was like 2 tenths quicker than I'd ever been anyway. So I was like, well, what am I actually going to be able to pull off? And I had a little bit of Discord coaching in the background as well, and they like helping me just fix a few issues as they were spectating. And then that managed to get there. But I was like, I'm rapid. It's so fast. And I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm 20th. But that's qualifying anyway. So that's it. Groom in first. So going into the race. Actually quite a relatively clean start. Like I said, we had a few incidents here and there, but none of the absolute giant pile-ups that we expected, to be honest, with Monza. Like I said, like, Monza is renowned for T1, and there was a few hits here and there, a few cars spinning back to front.
It stayed pretty consistent with my experience of Monza as well, which is that although turn 1 gets all of the sort of the fame, the second chicane actually ends up having most of the incidents, I think, because you feel like, yes, you've got past turn 1,
yes, I'm free,
been safe there, and then you bang it into that difficult braking zone, and very not a great overtaking opportunity, but for some reason everyone thinks that it is, and so you get a few dives and a few incidents and people diving off. But it wasn't as bad. Still not as clean as Friday. Friday still holds the crown of the cleanest split, but
But I mean, like,
definitely we didn't have any big Monza issues.
So the new sort of the new setup for bronze as well as silver, if we go to event config quickly, was longer free practice, obviously, and then 2 30-minute races. Bronze had no pit stops, but silver did have pit stops, and then we soon recognised that refueling doesn't actually take away from the pit stops. So it was like, well, I ran half and half just to get quicker lap times out of the Ferrari, because I knew I could be consistently quicker on low fuel. So. But like I said, it adds a lot to the strategy call that you're going to make. But the ones
saw a lot of people having the issues as well with just not being used to pit stopping and taking a long time.
Yeah, just
losing positions through not starting their car again quick enough and all sorts.
Yeah, and I practiced a few, but definitely fell foul to the car not starting as quick as I'm spamming the engine start button, and it's like it's not going anywhere. But I mean, the drivers impressed me a lot. Like I said, Bunetix, Groom, Daly in the BMW as well was just to be fair, was rapid. The BMWs were just rapid around Monza, to be honest. The new BOP has definitely helped them out a little bit, especially around this track as well. But then battling along with Chris, me and Chris have a running joke that we're basically magnetised to each other. That we'll always find each other on the track, and it nine times out of 10 ends in one car burning down the side of a corner. But actually getting to race alongside him for a bit was really, really good as well. Like I said, Barato, the top 10 are really, really clean, to be honest. And the pit stops definitely gave an interesting sort of feeling to it. Going into race 2. New driver at top, Matthew Jones. He had a bit of a P3 in race 1, but race 2 came out with a victory. Groom and then Bunetix as well finished out the podium for that one. But yeah, like I said, a lot of drivers had a lot of it. This was the one I noticed had more issues. Maybe it could have been because of like it's 7 o'clock in the evening for the race 2, so the track temperature is a lot. Like it drops off a lot. I think it drops from like 30 degrees to 18 degrees. But yeah, the one car we haven't mentioned, which I've just is Joseph Savage driving the Jaguar. It is the only Jaguar in ACCSS Championship. Yep. I don't think there's any in top split. There's definitely none in the other splits. But he had a fantastic drive. Like he was literally not bragging isn't the right word because it was justified bragging. But he was like, I can get 148s left and right and centre.
Monza is a good track for the Jag, so it's going to be very exciting to see him on some of the slower tracks. Cause him a few more issues.
And that's another thing I noticed as well is wondering how many drivers, including myself, that has picked a car that's good round Monza but haven't actually tested it around anywhere else.
There's a lot of Ferraris, a lot of Lambos, a lot of Mercs, a lot of Beamers, a lot of Bentleys, all sitting at the top, doing pretty decent on the straights.
Well, like I said, really, that's essentially the review, really. Like the race 2, there was a lot more, like I said, a lot more incidents, a lot of drivers getting caught up in silly little mistakes, probably more with being comfortable. Again, it's not me sitting here preaching to the choir and saying that I'm like an absolute golden child. I binned it about 3 or 4 times after my pit stop. I think it was twice in the same corner, lap after lap. Like I had a bit of a mare in race 2. But yeah, I think the challenge is definitely there. The silver split, like I said, really, really, really competitive. I mean, just the qualifying alone, and we'll go back to that quickly if you've missed it, of just having P1 to P20 within a second of each other, like that was just completely mind blowing. And shout outs to the Shingles. If you don't know who the Shingles are, they're racing in this split, and they're head steward and assistant head steward or deputy head steward, and they've done all the evaluations essentially for all of the splits for this season. But actually, have we got a video lined up for we haven't got any videos lined up for this season, I don't think. We're about to go to an ad break and we haven't even got an ad ready. Actually, we could take a look back at the highlights of season 1. We can jump into that. So we're going to take a little break. We're going to jump over to we won't get all the way through because qualifying's about to start in the pro split. Go and get yourself a drink, go to the toilet if you need to, and then we're going to strap in for a weather permitting pro split race around Monza. We'll be back very shortly.
Bring the smell of rain into my bed and lie so close to me. You could be inside my head. Maybe it's a once in a lifetime kind of thing to feel the kind of magic that your love brings. Some days it's like a haunting. This cool
And we're back then, ladies and gentlemen, and we're look at that for perfect timing. We just come to the end of free practice, and that was the highlight video made from Mazzano, which was round 3, made by Mr. Gareth Ronda, who was with us this evening. And yeah, that was from round 3 last season. So that's the sort of driving you're looking for. Like I said, Steve making the overtake in the pit lane. And we're into the 147s, by the way. We are one driver is now, which is Mohammed Afiq, is into the 147s.
There's a lot of drivers claiming some fast times here, so it'll be interesting to see who can get up there. Steve Worrell himself has been claiming some big times, so we want to see him at least in the 147s.
Actually, now you've mentioned Steve, we can move on to something that we've not talked about yet. Some of the new drivers, or some of the current drivers. No, I need to get my words right. Commentator that hasn't got his teeth in properly, everybody. Here we go. So, some of the drivers from last season will recognise what we haven't done yet, which is driver of the day. So we are doing drivers of the day. We are doing drivers of the day. That's not the thing I wanted to talk about. What is going on? Like, it's like we're playing Stream Racer all over again. Like, what is going on? So ones to watch. We are going to be doing ones to watch this season, and we haven't managed to get the overlay done. But where is Steve Worrell's name? There he is. So we've got these fancy things instead. If it comes on, let's have a little look. If it wants to work.
Quick shout out to Glover in the chat, and also stop talking in the chat and get to doing your lap, please.
He's not even shooting this evening, is he? He's actually racing.
Gotta see you putting a. You gotta be in the one. If Steve's getting in the 147s as well, Glover's gonna have to get there too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, that is the battle of the championship this season. Is Glover v Worrell. That is. Actually, you can explain a little bit. I've got your one to watch on screen now, in Steve, so you can explain why he's your one to watch for this race.
Steve has been he's been talking big. He's been talking big in the Discords about his times, what he can set. So if he doesn't set a banging qualifying and is right up there, then we can all make fun of him for overhyping himself. He's been fast, to be fair to him. He qualified really high up at Spa last season, but he just hasn't been able to hold together a full race. So as well as bullying him if he can't do a good qualifying, we can also see if he can manage to hold a whole race without spinning, which we're all very much hoping for, him being the guy who we're very thankful for setting up this whole event.
Yeah, my one to watch this evening is the mouse and keyboard player, which means we're going to go into cockpit view. Nicholas Alvarado doesn't have a steering wheel, doesn't have a controller, but plays on mouse and keyboard, and he's about 2 seconds a lap quicker than me.
Yeah,
like,
so much
it's absolutely phenomenal. Like, I'd love to know what it looks like. It's a very low DPI due to the lack of like jitteriness in the. I say that he's slowing down to make himself a gap, and a car's very rudely just jumped in front of him. But who is first one out? Is it 236? We got 236, 226 even. It's Mika Maninka then, who first time in the Pro Split, been promoted from silver last season, been promoted. Sorry, it was rookie split red, was it, or rookie either way? But he is the first out on doing a lap, and he's a little bit scared. He's a little bit worried in the chat.
It's a big jump up to the pros for him, but he is a very good driver, very clean driver. I've done a lot of SGP races with him, and it's always great fun to drive with. He's not quite consistently as fast as the fastest guys amongst us, but he is definitely fast enough to be in this split, and hopefully we can see him having some good fights. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, like I say, he's consistent enough to get all the way up there. He's definitely consistent enough to get himself into contention for Season 2. So he's first driver to come across the line, and let's see what the benchmark time is going to be. It's a 1:49.5, and then Carlson goes in with a 1:48.9. So let's have a little look at who we're going to jump on board with. Where is... here he is. Mr. Afik coming across the line. Is he valid? He wasn't. So he doesn't set a lap. But Lysin does. Mattia Lysin. Member number 3 of the Discord community. Still repping the top split. Actually, Steve Raw has gone in with a 148.7 and puts himself in P2 for qualifying. It's a 20-minute qualifying session. That's what
these times will definitely drop as people
as you say that. Yeah.
Time.
as Iverson, Holland, Hohen Lochter both go into the 47s, and I predict a 46. I think a 46 could be on the cards, and the driver that I think will get it will likely be a Feek, but there are a few that contend with him.
I'm excited to see a Feek because he's in the Mercedes now, the anime livery that Lars will be very happy with. He's always been an Aston guy in my head. I've always seen him there, so it's going to be interesting to see him challenged by a different car. Hopefully, it works for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's every chance that he can pick this Mercedes up and show it who's boss, essentially. And see what sort of lap times he can get. I mean, like I said, I think a 46 is easily obtainable from him and a few other drivers in the community. So he's still on his lap at the moment. And as these times trickle in, there's a few drivers that we're now seeing some positive deltas in our broadcasting tool. So we'll jump over to some of those after Afik sets his time and goes in the first lap of a 147.4 straight to pole.
Easy. Talking about people who are up on their times right now, a time is just about to be set by Seasland, Tim Seasland, who jumps to 6th, who we should shout out because unless I am an idiot, which I definitely am, but unless I am being an idiot, he is one of the guys who got promoted from one of the lower splits last season. So good to see him being able to compete.
Yeah, he was promoted alongside. He was in Bloomfield split, wasn't he? I think he was promoted alongside him and
Bloomfield and Julian, who is not here because I believe he is ill right now. So
yeah, he's not.
Well wishes to him.
So at the moment we're on board with Max Diggs coming through Lesmo 1 and 2. He is up on his time.
Yep, Hudson sets a 48, so he's hopping up towards the top 10.
And Bloomfield made it in as well with 48.3.
Yep, he was another one of our lower split guys who's been promoted. Good to see. We've been he's been in the lounge chats as we've been watching the other events. He's been one of the guys streaming some of them for people to watch, and we were having a good discussion about pit stops and how to most efficiently do pit stops. Rob Bown was giving us some tips, so I'm hoping to see Ashley has put some of that into practice and is going to have some speedy pit stops in this.
Hang on, Rob's giving Ash tips and not me. No one's giving me tips out there.
You were in the race. We couldn't give you tips.
Oh, is he? Oh, it actually fell. I'm just on board with him now as he was 6 tenths up, but he's lost it in the second chicane. That's a nice looking Ferrari, to be honest. Bloomfield, let's talk about... Well, we were talking about him. Hang on, he swapped cars. This is not what he was driving.
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic.
Well, Bloomfield?
Yeah, he was driving the Lexus. This is a last-minute change.
I don't know, because he was talking about driving the Merc before. I have a feeling that it might actually be... He might have fallen to the SGP bug that's been going around recently. That he might have... I think he originally chose the Merc and then wanted to change to the Lexus.
Yeah, because he picked the Lexus for the weather.
But I think he
didn't leave
without leaving and joining again, and so he's been bugged out.
I'm going to let you talk over his lap while I have a look.
Webby says, nah, he swapped, so
okay.
It seems he did give up on that. He doesn't believe in the weather. Our reporter, Webby, on the scene, giving us the up-to-date info.
Webby, I've taken over Moobot's daddy role. I gave 20-minute opportunity for someone to take it. No one did. and we needed the emotes on Moobot, so he's now mine. Let's go through some subs actually. Yes, we've got quite a few. So I resubbed. That was just a message. Lars has resubbed. Thank you very much, Lars. I gifted a sub to Moobot. Melons has resubbed as well. And Mossy subscribed with Prime. So thank you very much to all 4 of those drivers. So Bloomfield is up again. Oh, there's a car in his way.
Someone spun out of Ascari.
Who's 666?
Line across the track.
Yannick Williams. Steve Wall's up though. That's about to cross the line. He goes up to 11th. Are you able to... I haven't got enough windows without potentially crashing the stream. Get the stewarding document open for any incidents that we may see.
I've got it up here. Having the new open what's it called, Google Drive with them all in has been very nice. Not having to look for links all the time. I could just hop back to it and check every race. So
do you want me to be that guy and say that was the same in season 1?
No, I don't want to.
So Diggs is up by 2 tenths at the moment. Let's have it. We'll go and have a look at I would have a look at my one to watch, but he's down on his time at the moment. But someone is up. Actually, we'll stay on board with Diggs because Diggs is flying at the moment. So when you did Tuesday night stream for me, which I really appreciate the help with that, what cameras were you using predominantly? Because I do not like the TV cameras from Monza.
Oh yeah, I was switching between a lot of them. I was trying to get a lot of onboard shots. I think that's something I didn't do enough in season 1 and in some of the other races we've done.
So this passenger shot on board, yeah?
Yeah, that, and then looking backwards from the wing, if I can throw a few of those in. Every now and again, I like to throw in that weird, awkward one where it's just looking at their helmet, just for shits and giggles, because I think that's funny. And then there was one of the TV cameras that kept showing statics, and I'd use that only if they were coming into the corkscrew.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
And then
I know what
I'd jump between the helicam and the other one.
Yeah. Can you have a look if Afik is valid for me? Because that Delta is something crazy if he is.
Afik. Oh, that is crazy, yeah. Afik is not valid.
No, okay.
No, he is not.
on our Deltas, for those that don't know, because you can't see, he was like 1.2 seconds up, and I was like,
Yeah. I think he missed the chicane. I think we can I think we can safely guess that he probably missed the chicane. And he's just setting himself up for a really good run out of Parabolica.
Yes. So Rob goes in there. The times are slowly trickling in. Wright is being held up. Oh no, Wright is catching a tow as we head into Parabolica, and he is 2 tenths up. This could be quick enough to go on pole. Look at that livery. That livery
Another man driving the Jag ring.
He is driving the Jag, and that livery is...
Yeah, that's nice.
That might be my favourite.
It's a good choice. Shout outs to this guy for the good livery choices.
This should put him on pole. And it does. 1:47.3 is the time to beat now.
Oh. Got the big grunt of that.
Oh, I've lost you. Are you still there? Gareth, you've died. Can the stream still hear me? Is it me that's died or Gareth that's died? I think Gareth died.
So Rob, yeah.
Gareth, no! Come back to me. Anyway, as Gareth sorts out his technical issues. Oh, he's back. I heard a mouse click.
I died a little bit there. Suddenly there were cars going through the floor, and some of them were flying off, and it was
basically what's happened is I've passed you the connection issues.
That's fine. I'm not hosting, so I can deal with a little bit of getting knocked out.
Well, I was hoping you're going to be my backup if I was to get knocked out. Let's have a little look at how Steve's getting on. He's into his 7th lap of qualification. Bit loose there through Lesmo 1. Is he out qualifying Paul Glover though? He is. Where is Paul Glover? Paul Glover's down in 26th. What is he doing, man?
Paul Glover has been saying he's been having some hard times in practicing recently. There's just something hasn't been going right for him, and he hasn't been able to do the times he's been setting. I think maybe he's been stressing about making sure he keeps up with Worrell and just pushing it a little bit too hard, perhaps, because he's been saying for the past few days he's been having some issues on Monza.
I'll tell you what, we're just going to move away from racing games for a little bit. So when the stream was announced for this evening, I'm on the wrong one to watch as well. I've got my one to watch. Actually, it's your one to watch. I'm a Liverpool fan. I was like, oh, I can't watch the football match tonight because I'm streaming. I'm glad I'm not watching the football match tonight. They're currently losing 4-1 and only 40 minutes has been played. So it's a good start from them. But anyway, back to the racing. So Sizeland is up. Jimmy Holmes up as well. And I think he's closer to the finish line. I could be wrong. I think Sizeland just came a cropper in a little incident. There's an incident in... Oh, and Jimmy Holm was the incident.
Oh, there we go. Sizeland is still slightly up though, and he's not. His time is still valid. So
where is Bloomfield on track as well as he is?
Yannick Williams coming through in the Ferrari. He could hop up quite a few places. Not super high, but he could, with this time, get up to around 16th or 15th.
Sizeland's lost
Yannick
all
Williams,
his
someone
time
who's been
as well.
doing a lot of our fun events with us. Been racing with in LMP with him for a little bit.
Mr. Turner, I had respect for you, and that comment in the chat, I had an absolute metric ton of respect for you, and this has gone straight down the toilet. I think a few of our drivers are now just settling in with the position they've got. There's 3 minutes left of qualifying.
My experience of watching this qualifying so far has been catching people who are just up on their time, and then they're losing it just all the way out from Ascari. Iverson is going to manage to keep it up. He actually got a nice run through Parabolica there and kept some of it. But he just wants to go down to the line.
He put him up to P3. Yeah, he's up to P3.
Oh, he's only there by 1/100th. Just about got into P3. Good job there by him. That was close. He was losing it all the way down that straight. Luckily, the start-finish line's quite early on.
Hohenlochter is up on his time as well.
Yep, we have the top 5 drivers, all in the 147s.
Have you died again? I think you've died again. But Hohenlochter, yeah, I'll move on from what Kath was saying. 5 drivers in the 147s, and then there's a big old gap to Bloomfield. I'll say big old, 3/10 of a gap to Bloomfield in P6. But considering Bloomfield has jumped up a tier, it's a fantastic drive from him so far. So Hohenlochter is up at the moment. Can he gain a little bit through Ascari? It seems he's at least kept his time. Actually, where's Matamunu on track? 77. So there's a yellow flag in the Parabolica. See how our drivers interact with that. Matamunu's lost a lot of his time, I think, through that yellow flag. He was up by 6/10, which would put him in the top 5. So Hohenlochter goes into 3rd then. Knocks Iverson down, who's in the pits. Wright's in the pits as well. And that Jaguar, getting to last lap. Lando's now. As Bown is coming around. He's actually massively up here. He's 5/10 up. That could put him on the 2nd row even. Maybe not. It's invalidated. Ash Hudson is up as well. It's enough to put him on a 1:48.1 if it's valid. Which it does. Puts him up to P9. Let's have a little look who else is out and about. A lot of our drivers now returning to the pits. Ashley Hudson gives it a big old corner cut. So actually it's a really good showing here from our promoted drivers. We've got Bloomfield in 7th, Diggs in 12th, Maninka in 18th. There is currently, how many we got? 33 drivers in the split. There'll be a couple of others joining, I believe, as the race goes on. There's another event that we are involved with, an RCI 12-hour race, which the qualifying is this evening as well. So Jimmy Holmes looks like to be the last car on track setting a time. One camera down. There we go. See if... I think Gareth's full dead. I don't think he's coming back from that one. So he just stuck with me this evening. But hey-ho. That never upset anyone. Yes, it is the anime livery that Afik is using. So Holm currently level, or he's dealt as flat as he goes into Lesmo 1 and pulls over for Lesmo 2. So this looks like it's going to be our final qualifying order then. Who else is out on track? Hourier is up. And he's coming into the Parabolica now. And he goes into 27th. That looks like it's going to be the end. Oh, there's a couple of drivers still out. 987. Who's that? I recognise that number. Oh, it's Lyson. Mattia Lyson. Like I said, member number 3 for the Discord community. We're nearly at 1,000 now, but he was the third. He's the first public member of ACCSS, essentially. Steve and Mike, the guys, or Steve, the guy that's the guy that runs the joint. Steve was number 1, obviously, and then there was a guy that helped him set up the Discord, and then Mattia. See, I'm not looking at the viewer number. I'm going to look at the end. So, because I have a goal in mind that I want to get to, and I just don't want to get there and, or I don't want to, I don't want to track it. I just want to enjoy myself. Chat with some of you guys, chat with the chat, and go from there. So that's the end of qualification then. We're going to wait for the server to jump over. Let's come back to my pretty face, if we can. Am I still on? I know Gareth isn't on. Let's have a little look. Gareth's gone. Is this live? What have we got? Let's go on. That'll go. There we go. We come back to my wonderful face then. So thank you very much for the followers. There's loads of followers this evening, which is great to see. I like to see you're all new to the community. Hopefully one day we will be able, well, say one day soon anyway, we'll be able to reopen our doors to the new members. But until then, they're currently shut as we had a massive influx, around 250 new drivers in the space of a week. Our standards took a little bit of a hit in some of the midweek races, and Steve decided at the moment it's going to be a recommendation only community, just while we sort the standards out, get the stewarding in place, and give it a good experience for all of the drivers, both new and old. But we have got a lot to offer. If you are new or old, doesn't matter. So we talk a little bit, like we said, we've got GT4 Turn Up and Drive Championship on Tuesday. We're heading to Spa for round number 3 of that. And then on Wednesday, we're going to move back to Assetto Corsa, and we're going to be doing an MX5 International Mini Cup. So it's going to be 3 rounds, MX5 on Assetto Corsa even. And the tracks are going to be Monza Short, and then it's going to be Red Bull Ring National, and then Watkins Glen Short on AC. We had some great fun in the touring cars on Wednesday. And then we thought we'd have a crack at some more AC fun this Wednesday. So let's jump over back to
It's so Rob, yeah.
our game.
I'm back.
You're back. Hello.
I restarted my internet. Hopefully it shouldn't die now.
You're just in time for the virtual grid walk if my camera decides to sort itself out.
Beautiful. To answer a few questions in chat quick, Fabian asks, is the GT open to join any time for ACCSS members? Yes, it is a championship, but it's sort of an unofficial championship. It's just anyone who turns up, signs up on ACCSS for each thing, first come, first serve, gets in. And then someone was talking about the Jag. The Jag has always been good on these sort of tracks. It's always been able to be competent. It's not like it's been hugely buffed. It's been slightly buffed. But it is very good on these super fast tracks like Monza, where there's lots of big straights. It's got a good grunt and always has.
We'll see how Wright gets on next week at Zolder and the week after at Spa.
Yes, which is going to be Zolder especially will be a lot harder. And Adam asks, where is Strasser? He's ill. But we're wishing him well, and he'll be back hanging out with us all as soon as he's better.
Exactly. So we're going to move on to the virtual grid walk. We've got 2 minutes left before a full formation lap. So we've got Wright in pole with Rafik in P2. Hohenlochter in P3. Iverson in the Lexus is in P4. Holm in P5. Droster, Bloomfield, Bowen, Hudson and Barrett make up the rest of the top 10. Then we've got Trivanovic, Diggs, Sizeland and Worrell up to P14. Let's move this camera a little bit quicker. Matamone, Martinez, Glover, Maninka, Williams, Coulson, Zaks and Kufon make your top 20. Ahern, Clerk, Alvaro, Desbardos, Horier, Lysin, Rogers and then Schungel. And then we've got Becker, Smith, Yalato and the last of the late joiners, Mr. Cold Beer Elbow himself. Now, he hasn't qualified there. He's just joined the server due to, like I mentioned, the RCI 12 hours of Barfords, which is coming up, which it's qualifying today. So we have a team, and I believe there's 2 other teams in the community that are racing in that, and we wish them the best of luck as well. Who's your money on then, Gareth? If you're still there. Have you died again? Don't do this to me.
No, I muted myself. I'm an idiot. There's a strong part of me that wants to, that really wants to believe that Albu's going to do it. But my more serious answer would be I'm going with Afik. I'd love to see the Jag win, but I think my man Afik's got what it takes. I want to see him get into the lead quickly and then hold it. Good drive like he did at Silverstone in Season 1, those sort of things. Yeah,
we haven't really seen like peak Afik essentially. We haven't really seen like peak Afik since Silverstone, really, have we? Like he struggled in the mid pack, but really seems to thrive at the start, or at the front, at the sharp end of the field essentially. But this is the first time we've also get to see some of the liveries, and the one that I like the most is going to be Mr. Kufon's. He's in the Porsche 911. That's his car number, by the way, 911. And that is probably one of my favourites, along with some of these black and red Ferraris.
It's the official one, right? Yeah, 911's. Oh no, that's not the official one. That's similar though. That's nice. Yeah, I agree. It's a good one. I like the Norwegian Racing Beige Lamborghinis. We've got a couple of those in.
Yeah, their teammate is Coulson and. Coulson
and then Schungel is in the official Porsche livery. That's a nice one.
So we're now moving. I have got an audio bug, which is excellent.
Drost looks like he's got a bit of Norwegian Racing Beige going on his Bimmer. That's a nice one.
Have I got an audio bug? Let's see if it's... Oh, I think it's caught up now. Could be wrong. Let's see if that'll reset it. I think that's fine. I think the audio bug's gone. But anyway.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I mean that anime livery is not going to get you much screen time. That Jag livery is something special.
Yeah, beautiful.
Someone's forgot to press drive. Oh, it's Albu. make it more difficult for himself.
Yeah, he picked the writer engineering Gallardo last season to give himself a bit more of a challenge. Maybe he's just doing the same again in the Murcielago now. Or is it? It's not a Murcielago even, is it? It's the newer one.
It's
Whatever. In
Huracan,
the
yeah.
Huracan, yeah. There we go.
So we've got Iverson in the default Lexus, obviously. The Ferrari ones do look nice, as well as the BMW.
Why does no one pick the other default Lexus one?
There is one in there. I saw it. Where is he?
It's nice.
Is it Sachs? I think it's Sachs is in the other one, which is the nicer one.
Good choice.
The black and red
there
one.
we go, Sachs. Good choice. That's a nice livery.
Yeah, so we have an emote especially for when Bloomfield spins. Because that is why he spins. He never comes into any... He went the whole season without a single penalty last season. But managed to pretty much ruin himself in about 3 or 4 of the 10 races that we had available to us. But yeah, I think this livery from Kufon is one of my favourites. That can't be a custom one. I'm pretty sure that's got to be a official livery. Yeah, because I don't imagine any of the customs have got the badges on the top of it, have they? Like the things on the roof.
That is an official one, I believe. Yeah. Nice.
I did have a quick look through. Now, those that were accustomed to the lounge streams we had on Friday night, anyway, we had a free cam at turn 1. Now we're not going to do that for this race because then we'll get too far stuck behind the rest of the action. Yeah. But I am going to look. Actually, I'm going to look at Helicam Bloomfield so we get a bit of a wider picture of the field as we go into turn 1. And if you see anything towards the back, there are nearly, I think, 40 drivers in this lobby. 34. There's 34 drivers, 1 in the pit, so 33 on track. You can give us a shout if there's anything happens further down.
So far, I haven't been looking at everyone, but most of this that I've seen, the most surprising thing so far, people are actually, and this is going to be where it gets bad as they go up into 2x2, but people have actually been driving as if it's an actual formation lap. Well, there's a few people just overtaking each other and driving through. Yeah, this is the bit where falls down the window, but hey, they at least started not just outrageously warming their tyres.
So you say that, Strollway Cole. Yesterday we went 4 wide into turn 1 in race 1 and there wasn't a single incident out of it. We all held our own. It was towards like the mid-pack as well. 4 wide.
One thing I'm looking for in this is more people to cut the chicane if there's like a real standstill. Because if there's a real standstill, you're allowed to go through the little chicane, or whatever it's called. Not quite chicane, the polystyrene boards. And so I want to see more people diving into there if there is a stand down as we approach green. So we are about, as Afik's got his nose in front of right here, and we go green then for ACC Sprint Series Championship number 2. Afik's got the run into turn 1 and cuts right off. They're 2 wide. There's not too much to fight about. Afik's had a really great start there then. As here comes the braking zone. They're 3 wide a bit further down. Everyone's coming to a very slow... It's coming a little bit of a parker. Oh, there's a little bit of bum banging further down as one of the... I believe that's Bown, is it? That spun round on the exit of the chicane. Oh, it might be Holm. No, it was. It was Holm that spun on the chicane. And then we enter the real trouble zone. Yeah, this is where people will die. Oh, as it looks like the Ferrari behind Worrell is Diggs, I think, was looking to make a move. Is there any? There's no instance. No yellow flags raised so far. There's a little bit of. There we go. There's one. They had the Porsche spin of the.
Shingle.
You liked.
That was Shingle.
Shingle has also spun.
But Kufon spun back. So Kufon spun and Shingle spun them.
No, not Kufon, the one who was in the red and black one.
Yeah, that was Kufon.
Oh, was that Kufon? Oh, okay.
He looks like they're now in recovery mode then. So let's have a look at the effects. Afik's now doing what Afik does and driving away from the pack. He's already opened up a 4-second gap then on the first lap alone.
Yeah, the Jaguars drops down. Really unfortunate from right.
Oh, he's had an instant. That's why. There's been a big... And Worrell was involved in that instant as well. Let's have a little look, see if the replay controls work. We'll jump back 30 seconds as we head into Ascari for the first time then. He'd already been swallowed up at the Jag of of right, and then let's have a little look. Head into Ascari. The Jaguar's on the outside, misses the corner, decides to cut across the sand, gets absolutely swallowed up, and then Worrell loses it. Worrell loses it through the Ascari and just absolutely T-bones the Jaguar of right then. That's how that instant scored, and there's some really strong defending from the Lamborghini further down below. Let's have a little look how they stand. So Afik then, 3.5 second gap as we go up to the second chicane. And then we've got Iverson and Bone in P3. Trivonovic has had a great start. P11 all the way up to P4. So is Barrett. Barrett's P10 gone up to P6. So a great drive from them two.
Absolutely. So as our field will start to sort of calm out now, a shout out to Olbu, who's just made a double move into the second chicane. That's put him just ahead of Kufan, so he's in 27th now. Bit of a bad run out of it, so he might end up losing that position. But no, he's going to hold it. So great start for Olbu. He's going to start carving through the field. And we started to sort of calm down now towards the front, it seems. I say that as I see two cars going side by side through Ascari, but very close to losing it there, Diggs, but he's...
Glover! No, Glover's managed to hold it, and there we go, we said it would happen. Bloomfield goes the whole season 1 without getting a penalty, and has then got a penalty in turn 1 of race 1. As Glover managed it. The thing, that's what I noticed with the Ferrari yesterday, is you can get your right hand side of your car stuck in the curb of Ascari, and it just catapults you into the wall. And that curb's not. You need to avoid that a little bit. As it looks like it's Lysine is getting a 4-car tow. That view doesn't really give it justice. But a 4-car tow then into turn 1.
Ooh.
Oh, he's gone for the inside. That's
not working.
Not going to work. Oh, that's going to be about, I'd say, probably 10, maybe even a 15-second penalty.
Aston Tabastos spun around on him, and there's now a little bit of chaos at the first chicane as people try to get through that, losing a lot of places, all of these guys. Olbu making up more places through this.
And unfortunately, your one to watch here has got so much damage that he's having to pit early. He's just falling so much time, and actually, it's another that's not the Jaguar. Where's too far? Oh, it's John Hearn has had an incident as well. Actually, he's left. He's just left the server. John Hearn. He was yellow flagged, and he's left. Did Worrell get it? Oh, if he would have waited, I don't think he got there to clear his pit stop. He might have to pit again.
I think he was in first. Yeah, I think he
should
have had one more awful lap.
When does it start counting? Does it count when you leave or when you go in?
I'm not sure. It doesn't clear until you leave, so he might have
Maybe
been lucky.
get lucky. We'll have to check back on
I think
that
it
one.
counts when you go in, so I would assume he's not. But we could be wrong as Afik comes through to start his 4th lap.
So no one's dived into the pits early then. We expect it probably to get to around 15. Oh, I was actually say that. Bloomfield's in the pits then. Is he in the pits? He is in the pits.
Yep, he's coming in. He gets to clear his penalty and any damage that he might have got if he wants to take the longer pit stop. Get it out of the way. Hopefully he can come out in some clear air and then set some laps and undertake a few people. Might be his goal here.
So there we go then. The pack's starting to close up a little bit through the middle. I believe it's Maninka is the sort of cork in the bottle for Martinez. And it was Bloomfield who was in the pit. So the timing beam is slowly clearing itself up. Has Steve left the pits yet? He hasn't. That's how much damage he's got. He hasn't left the pits yet.
Diggs, Hudson, Manika and Martinez are having a nice little battle here, reasonably far up the order, with Bound very close on Iverson as well. And then it's reasonably tight for most of the field behind that, as we see a ton of people in the pits now.
Yeah, the alternate colour scheme between Yannick Williams and Jermaine Smith. They're both driving Ferraris, and they're driving one the main colour red, one the main colour black. But the rest is the same. It's as they head into Ascari then. And Williams is definitely the cork in the bottle here for 5 or 6 cars battling for the last of the point paying positions essentially. Only goes up to P15, and he's sitting there being the gatekeeper essentially. Well, Smith's the gatekeeper for 15th, but he's got a string of 4 or 5 cars behind him, and actually Albu's joined onto the back of this group as well.
Albu coming from the pits, fighting for points now after some of the chaos that has been in there, as we see Williams dive into the pits, perhaps to fix a little bit of damage that he got from the incident with Bloomfield on lap 1. And we see the Lexus here going down the side of Smith's Gelato, being aggressive, but he's on the outside, so he's going to have to take a really tight line into here. Doesn't even manage to get alongside, so that's just ruined his own exit there and not gained him anything. And now Holm is right behind him, right on his bumper, and he's definitely going to dive into the second chicane because everyone always does.
Actually, he's having to defend really hard from Holm. So Holm was one of the top 5 qualifiers here, and he's having to recover as Holm looks to go on the inside of the second chicane.
Side by side through chicane, both very clean, keeping it there, but they're staying side by side, so they're going to have to come down to the Degner, and this is awkward because you can't really go side by side there great, and you see that Holm lost a lot of momentum through there, which is going to put Albu up alongside him. Albu now has the inside line for this, and it's one of those situations, little tap there, but I don't think anything untoward. It's one of those situations where sometimes losing a position or battling for a position can lose you more positions because he was just out of the line, and Albu very smartly put his nose right up behind Gelato so that as soon as Gelato got past, there was nowhere for Holm to go. He couldn't slot in behind Gelato, and he was stuck offline for the rest of the Lesmos, and even lost a place to Sachs after recovering from that little tap that he got.
Yeah, so Albu now coming from... so actually this pack from 14th to 16th qualified 32nd, 33rd, 34th. So they qualified at the back of the pack, and they made some great gains. Obviously Albu starting in the pit lane as well is one of the noticeable gains. But yeah, they've a few of the drivers now are diving into the pits. So Smith moves himself up to 12th.
There's been a crash in the pit lane. One of the Hondas, it looks like Manika and someone else got caught up in the pit lane. Manika and is that Matamona? Yeah.
Yeah, I've just we've just gone back 10 seconds. And he's sideways. So he's gone into the back of Gelato.
That's not something that you want to see when you've just come into the pits there.
No, definitely
But it can
not.
happen with people who've had more pit practice than others. Almost happened in one of our RCI races with me and Julian, where I had not practiced the pit entry and slowed down before Julian expected so. So I expect that's the sort of thing that has happened here, and it's easy to do. It's the reason we have pits in these, is because it's something that you do need to practice and learn, and a lot of these guys are going to have to improve at those pit stops before moving out. Iverson actually has managed to pull away from Bown right at the front, and is actually closed on a Feek a little bit.
It's Alvaro then, the mouse and controller player, has decided to spin through Ascari. We're not having good shout-outs here with R1s to watch this evening, are we? Like yours is retired after a bit of an incident, and then mine just decides to spin itself at Ascari.
This is Steve's fault, because he baited me with calling out how fast his lap times would be. I should have gone for a Feek, because my original choice is doing excellently. As I said, he managed to get in front, and he does what a Feek does when he's out in front. He's clearly got some work to do with his racecraft, but when he's out in front, he just has the pace. A little bit slower on the last few laps than Iverson. As I was saying, Iverson is managing to catch up, but he's cruising so far. With 18 minutes left of this race to go, so coming up towards the halfway mark, but not quite there yet.
The difficult thing here is there's now a massive gap formed. By the looks of it, I'm not too sure if my timing screen is lying to me, but No, I think it's just trying to play catch up because the gap was getting bigger and bigger to the cars behind. But there's something like an 80-second gap. So that's not happening. But I mean, Iverson is tracking down Afik. The gap did get up to about 4 or 5 seconds. It's now only 2, and driving like that from Afik on the grass through Les Mode 2 is only going to put the carrot even closer on the stick for Iverson.
Yeah, Iverson got a little held up by Matamona there, who'd come out of the pits and is a lap behind. But he's got past him now and is back to pushing on these times.
So current fastest lap is Afik with a 1:47.8, but at the end of the day, he's had the clean air, the clean track for the whole race.
And he hasn't been keeping up with those times. He set a 1:47 early as he pushed away, but he hasn't kept doing that. He's been in the 1:48s, and his last lap was a 49. So it could be that he's just chilling out front, and that he'll pick it up again when he realizes he's under pressure. But so far, he's not quite on that time, so we could have a battle on our hands.
It's very much the possibility. So Iverson and Bown are chasing him down. But none of these drivers are yet to pit.
Nope.
Still got that.
17th is the first driver.
Oh, that is a bit. Who was that? The blue Ferrari. That's just gone flying through. Oh, it was Bowen. Bowen's completely missed the chicane then, and has a fight with the polystyrene barriers on the way through the runoff area.
Ooh. Yeah, I just caught that on the stream. That was a big mistake.
Oh, there's our first one. So unfortunately, we've turned Boom off for this season. So if you want any replays, you have to clip them yourselves. Basically, Boom used to blow up my computer. Now we can't do it. So you still use Twitch clips, and you can post them in the Twitch clips channel on the Discord. I did see someone earlier ask if we have a Discord. We do have a Discord, unfortunately, like someone mentioned earlier. It's closed at the moment as we sort out some of the driving standards across the 250 new members that we had in a 2 or 3 week period. Let's have a little look further down. Where's the battles on track? Everyone's started to thin out a little bit now due to this pit
Diggs and
stop
Hudson
window.
are reasonably close to each other in 4th or 5th. Hudson was really pushing at Diggs, but has fallen off a little bit. Behind them, there's some back marker action. Litchen has got a 10-second penalty for braking too late in turn 1 and hitting car 91.
Who is 91?
Hit 79 apparently. So he hit
Drozda,
who then hit into Paul Glover, and so he got a 10-second penalty for impacting both of those drivers' races in the first corner.
We are halfway through.
Lots of incidents in the report sheet, but only 2 that have been penalised so far. And as Litchen dives into the pits, he will be clearing this penalty as part of his pit stop.
So it looks like there's a massive gap in the track though. Like you're looking for clean air. You're looking at the end of is it 8? Is it who's 669? Oh, 969. Holenlochter, and then the next car on track is number 98, which is one of the back markers, I believe. Actually, I can check with this feature.
98 is Leonard Schungel, who
Schungel
right now is 32nd out of 34 cars in this race.
He's the last of the runners by the looks of it, because Worrell's 33rd and he's retired, so...
We've got a few of our front guys coming into pits now. Bown has come out of the pits, so there's always some chances of strategies here. Obviously, as we can see, Bown is attempting to undercut some of the people at the front, like Iverson.
He's trying to do a Louis Paz. Or Lupiaz.
Shout out to Lupiaz.
Who sadly isn't in with us this season, which is a little bit upsetting. He was very close to getting your banned last season and hasn't signed up for season 2.
What we saw from season 1 in terms of pitting is that, as makes sense when you think about strategy, the top runners like to leave it quite late. Athig and Iverson diving in now, which is actually earlier than I would expect. But both diving in on the same lap as they're quite close together, so this is going to be a straight up pit battle of who does it better. In these pits, we have mandatory tyre changes, and that means that the time is essentially locked to 30 seconds because you can fill your whole car up and you'll never manage to take more than the tyres take. So this is all to do with who can manage to get their engine turned off and on in the most efficient way and get onto and off of the pit limiter in the most efficient way without getting a penalty, as we see Diggs, Coulson, and it looks like Ulbu just leaving the pits there, it looks like, or just coming in.
So as we've just seen on the stream there, Barrett got really loose coming out of the second chicane, and that's opened the door for Bloomfield to take that position and move himself up to 15th position. This is a great
talking about that, as it is the other Lamborghini in the pits, Coulson, that is. Iverson jumped to Feek in the pit lane.
Oh, he did.
He's come out just ahead of Afik, so he has been more efficient on all of those little tiny bits that can gain you extra time in the pits, and he's managed to come out just ahead of Afik as they go through turn 1 now.
Oh, that's the undercut. That's literally what we're talking about. If you don't know what an undercut is, essentially is pitting behind someone in hopes that your pit stop will be quicker than theirs, so you effectively close a gap or overtake someone in a pit lane. And actually, Hudson's really close to the back of Martinez as they've gone through Ascari. They're the current leaders at P1 and P2 on track. And then, I'm about to say it's the Jaguar of Wright that's behind them. I'd say if it's not, he's had a fantastic drive if it's not. But Wright's now back up to P3 after a pit stop. But no, so this is the battle for the lead on track. Both these cars yet to pit. Neither of them pitting in this lap.
Oh, they're right up on each other as well. Martinez in the Bentley. You haven't seen many Bentleys in the split, so it's good to see them.
So Albu jumps into the
They
pits
have a
as well.
trouble now as well because they want to fight each other. They definitely want to fight for that position, but what they really should be doing is just pumping in lap times as much as possible before their pits so that they can try and get out on track ahead of anyone else possibly.
Well, Hudson put in a personal best last lap, so that he's definitely aiming to get towards there. But it literally is sort of the waving the red flag in front of the green Lamborghini ball, as it were, just trying to get Hudson just to get past him.
Absolutely not an easy thing to do on some of these corners. Going to have a good chance into the first chicane and down towards Parabolica, but he's going to have to keep right up to that Bentley, and you can see the Bentley just pulling out little bits of time here and there where it counts. So a slightly awkward situation there.
So we've got three or four drivers left to pit. And then we can have a look where the battle is on track. And actually, if we jump down, talking of battles on track, Safik still trying to get past Iverson, who performed that fantastic undercut on him in the pit lane. They're within 3 tenths of each other, and they're now just got to start, like I said, absolutely smashing out lap times. There's 9 minutes to go for race number 1.
Afik, first lap out the pit was slightly faster than Iverson, so he has possibly the pace to make this happen if he can find space to overtake. They're about to come out through Ascari now. He's moving towards his best chances on this track, really. Nice and smooth through Ascari, staying right up on there.
Iverson's
a little tap on the curb, but the Afik runs a little bit wide and gets a tiny tyre of gravel, so he's not quite keeping up here.
Yeah, I think if
the Merc has a really good grunt out of the corner, but the Lexus has a lot of power on the straights, and so he might be in a good position here in terms of the overtake battle between those cars.
Yeah, I think if Iverson pretty much just got a freebie there because he had an off, or not an off. He clipped the curb on the exit of Ascari, but like I said, then Afik then caught the gravel on the straight up to the Parabolica. But Afik looking for the inside, can't quite make it stick into T1. That's only going to... Actually, he's had a great exit of the chicane. That's going to open it right up for Curva Grande. That's only going to give him more entry speed into the second chicane.
Exactly. He is really close there, just managing to keep it behind the Lexus. The toe giving him that little bit of advantage that he needs.
He moves
Gonna
out for
pull
the
out
inside.
nice and early,
No.
but not gonna have it.
He just doesn't need to force it here. There's still 8 minutes.
Nope.
Rafik has no pressure on him. He's got a 6-second gap to P3. He's got no pressure on him to make this move. Like, he can literally just sit there behind the Lexus and hope. We've seen the Lexus make a mistake in the past lap or so, especially with that exit of Ascaris. He breaks earlier than the Mercedes does into Lesmo 2.
Yeah, this is a thing about patience, which you rightfully said, which we've seen some of our guys, even in the top split, not having in previous races, as Rafik dives out to the side there, but not going to do it. Hits the brake a little bit early. But those sort of moves, even, those sort of little mind games can be really nice if Rafik can keep just doing them, keep putting his nose there and telling Iverson he's going to go for it, even when he doesn't. Because,
it's literally like a sign of, I am quicker than you, get out my way.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Exactly, that's what you're telling him, and he's going to start feeling it. He's going to start just seeing that guy in his mirror and thinking, like, oh, he's going for it. He might try and break that little bit later just to preserve his position and make a mistake. That's what you're looking for in these sort of situations, but you need to then not mind game yourself, as some people will do, and pull out and think, no, actually, I can do this, when you clearly can't. Another 10-second penalty coming in, this time for Matamuna, which is probably for the pit lane incident.
And Glover's actually got himself up to P10 with an overtake on Diggs in the background. I want to go down and have a look at this battle between 10th and 12th, but I just can't keep my eyes off this battle. This is the battle for the lead, and it feels really harsh by saying that... actually, Martinez... Oh, no. Oh,
Rafik is so close on the back here. He's just all over this Lexus, not able to make anything happen to that corner. But the Lexus goes slow. Rafik actually gets a tap on him, but he's side by side, and he's got the superior Mercedes grunt out of that corner, and he takes the lead going into the Lesmos as the Lexus really messed up his exit of that chicane. And Rafik is back in the lead again, and hopefully he can keep up doing what he did at the start of this race. And just pull away.
So it's giving me a little opportunity just to jump back and have a look at this battle here for the position. I believe he may have given it back. There's a few... No, he hasn't. He's just kept it. But the timing beam hasn't updated yet. But we're going to jump back and have a look at this battle for P9, I believe it is. It's Hudson that, again, is now finding himself as the cork in the bottle this time. He was on the attack before the pit stops. Now he finds himself defending from a raging Ferrari of Paul Glover. And even ragier Lamborghini of Albu, who's had to come from the back of the grid and finds himself in P11 after all the pit stops. May have found himself in P10. This Horier is the last
run from Albu.
And Horier is the last driver to pit who finds himself in the pit lane at the moment. He's only just entered the pit, so it looks like Albu will find himself in P10. Following the... Is he just parking or just...
now closed.
Yeah, I think he's just parking. And Albu looks on the inside of Glover. We saw that just coming into the Parabolica, and Hudson's run himself a little bit wide. That's going to give him less entry speed than the Ferrari behind of Glover.
Yeah, the Ferrari's got the run on him here, so he's going to have to position his car defensively. But it comes to a point where the first chicane on Monza is complicated, because you can get a better line in, but if you don't have the drive on the way out, it can still mess with you. We saw this exact same sort of trio positioning in one of the earlier splits, but they didn't manage it. These three, supremely clean through there, managed to keep it on the straight and narrow. Albu right up behind the Ferrari now. This is one of those incidents where the Ferrari clearly has a opportunity to make a position, but if he makes any sort of mistake, Albu's going to see that and just dive for it. Albu again positioning very aggressively going into there, but just trying to psych that guy out, keeping a decent thing. You see there, the Ferrari just slip in there, trying to get a little bit sooner on the loud pedal.
So we've got 3.5 minutes left of this race, and we'll use this little opportunity here while this battle carries on. Talk a little bit about driver of the day. So if you are new to ACCSS on Twitch, we do a driver of the day vote, which is the top 10 drivers will qualify for that vote. And how you can enter it, it will go live at the end of the race. is you can enter P1 all the way up to P10 in the chat, and that will register your vote for driver of the day. And then that'll get added into the little totals at the end, and it make that driver feel really good about his fantastic drive. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. And this battle now, Hudson has been fending off the Ferrari of Glover, has now brought in the McLaren and the Mercedes of Diggs and Bloomfield to the fray. And with 3 minutes left, we could have a little 5-way battle here for the P8. Albu's had a great run here, though. Oh, Afiq's got a 5-second penalty. Afiq's been given a 5-second penalty for the tap, as Albu's got the better run out of Parabolica into the first chicane.
I've just noticed that in the thing, and I've head back to have a look into the replay to see where that's from. And to be fair to them, it does seem like it is reasonable. He hit the back of the Lexus coming out of the second chicane, where he got the original overtake on. And yeah, probably should have waited to let the Lexus go through. It was the Lexus's mistake originally, I thought, but it looks like possibly Albu started that just when the Lexus was going a little bit slower than he should have been, but without making a mistake. So that is, in that situation, Afiq's responsibility to keep it safe there, as it is for the drivers behind. So fair enough on that one, and he's going to have to pull out more of a lead. He has already pulled out a 3-second lead, so it's not impossible, but it is unlikely.
He's eventually going to have, he's coming around, he's going to have 1 lap. This is the penultimate lap here. He's coming around the Parabolica now. He's got to find 2 seconds in the last lap. I don't think he's going to do it, to be honest. Actually, he could even find himself in P3, because Bone's only another 3 seconds behind that. So if Bone can find a second in the last lap, then he could put himself on contention for P2 as well. So as we see during that discussion, Albu has got past. Got past Glover, and actually there's 2 wide going through the Parabolica for Martinez and Caesar now for P6. Let's see how this drive goes as we go into the first chicane. Mercedes still
got a nice position on the inside there. All about getting through the corner, though, if they can make this first part. It looks like the Bentley's a little bit far behind, and being on the outside, he's not going to have a great time. He gets the extra position in there. Mercedes cuts him off a little bit. Doesn't get the greatest drive out. And so they're still side by side.
Oh, they're still battling now as they go through Curva Grande as well.
This is a harder one. You really need to be alongside to pass through here. So it does the smart thing, and the Bentley realizes he's not going to be able to do it and backs out. You need to be right alongside, if not a front, before the corner to make anything happen through that chicane. So that was the right decision, as he gets the better position for the first Lesmo, though, and actually just dives on in the inside. That was a bit of laziness coming there from the Mercedes, not holding his line correctly and leaving a gap that shouldn't have been there, that the Bentley exploited very well and is now roaring up the road.
I'll tell you what, Rob Bowen is down to about half a second away from getting P2 here. He's really piling the pressures. They come round to the corner. Afiq will take the checkered flag, but that's going to put him into P2 with Iverson getting the lead with the penalty. I'm not too sure how far Bone was behind. We're going to have to wait for all the drivers to cross the line before we get the final standings. Then we'll be able to do driver of the day.
I believe Bowen won't quite make it.
No,
he's just over.
Let's have a little look further.
I think he's 3 temps more and he would have had it.
Albu's looking for on the outside of Parabolica for Hudson to put himself in P9 or P8 even. He's not managed to get that done. So we have a little look back through the rest of the field as our drivers are coming across the line. Bloomfield secures himself a P11. But like I said, Driver of the Day vote is now open. So if you want to get yourself voting for that, actually there's more battles further up the track.
So Rob, yep.
Yannick Williams involved. No, not too much going on. All just coming across the line now. So if you want to get yourself involved for Driver of the Day vote, for P4, we'll do the
So Rob, yep.
up-to-date one. So for Iverson, it's going to be P1. For Afiq, it's going to be P2. For Bowen, it's going to be P3. For Hohenlochter, it's going to be P4. For Travonovic, it's going to be P5. For Martinez, P6. For Seasland, P7. For Hudson, P8. For Albu, it's P9, and for Glover, it's P10. So get yourself a little vote in the chat. I effectively know who's winning this. I don't really need to. There's your webcam back
not
on.
really
so super
useful here.
Yes, it is. That's cool.
Should be on.
So I was just checking before I went over to the podium screen. So there we go. Then Iverson does take P1. Let's just get these changed.
Good luck next race, Steve.
So yeah, who was obviously our ones to watch didn't perform as intended. I'm not too sure. Where did Alvaro come in the end? I wasn't after that spin.
Alvaro came in 29th.
So any better drives then for our drivers or ones to watch today? Oh, that's the wrong one.
Very sadly losing that position, but it's still a great drive from him, coming out in second, so not actually changing position. Him and Diggs, Yannick Williams, Devin DeBastos, and Benjamin Horiot all finishing exactly where they qualified, which isn't something you often see that much. Iverson obviously had a great pit stop, super efficient, managed to pull himself ahead of Afik. And then who else made up a ton of places? Rob Bown had a great race. Jefinovic had a great race. Martinez. Albu, obviously, a lot of support in a chat for him.
Can you see?
They're probably all the ones to really point out, I think.
Can you see the text chat in game?
I can.
I'm not showing it.
I see.
But anyway, our driver of the day is Mr. Elbow himself. Corbion Albu even in P9, getting himself driver of the day. Yeah, that's a fantastic drive from him. P34 all the way up to P1. And if you don't get the joke, which a lot of you won't get, I couldn't pronounce his name when he first joined, so that's what I called him. So that's why it's going to stick, and that's why he's got the emote. But yeah, fantastic drive from all of our contenders. A few angry messages being sent in the text chat. That's why we're not showing it. Some fantastic drives from, like I said, the back of the grid. I believe I was a little bit distracted, but I believe you mentioned the.
So I've actually looked up. I just went back and looked at the incident that's being talked about.
Yeah.
It seems like I assumed wrong. I thought they were talking about after. It does say hit him up the back going into the braking zone, and I had a look, and someone, I can't see him now unfortunately, but someone very astutely guessed the correct answer, which is that Albu had a little netcode tap onto the back of Iverson when going into the braking zone, which could have been responsible for Iverson having the bad exit, which then led to the other tap, which I thought was on the nose about being a penalty, but. Yeah, unfortunate having a little bit of internet issue in there, but that's definitely a
it happens. It happens. At the end of the day, that's what we've got the
stewards for.
The stewards for, and the protest for as well. If he really feels that way inclined that he didn't deserve the penalty, then he can feel free to submit a protest after the race. So let's move on anyway. Move on from a fantastic race number 1, and we're back in for race number 2. We're going to go
just quickly. Glover is asking what happened to Steve. Steve spun at Ascari and murdered a Jaguar.
Yeah, I think he was side by side with someone, and then he was side by side with someone through Ascari, and then he came off worse and ended up in the side of a Jag. This Jag here, right?
Oh, Albu and Martin Jones, a good catch out there from our friend JJTV UK. Check him out on Twitch.
YouTube now.
Albu actually started from the back the first time as well because he didn't get in for qualifying. But we have Martin Jones disconnected from the session and is at the back now, or maybe he wasn't in the first session, but whatever. He's in the back now. Right,
let's have a little look through at the grid then. So we've got Wright and Afik P1 and 2, Hohenlochter and Iverson 3 and 4, Holm and Drozda in 5 and 6. Bloomfield and Bown in 7 and 8. Hudson and Barrett in 9 and 10. And then we've got Travonovic, Diggs, Seasland, Worrell, Matamuna, Martinez, Glover, Maninka, Williams, Coulson in the top 20. Then we've got Sachs, Cuffon, Clerk, Alvaro, De Bastos, Horia, Lyson, Rogers, Shingle, Becker, Smith, Yelato, and then we've got the 2 drivers at the back of Albu and Jones. Now they've connected. That's not Matthew Jones, that is another Jones. It's a Martin Jones, I think. Because we now have 2 M Joneses.
Yeah, not confusing at all.
See, I corrected him, John. I told him mid-sentence not to interrupt him too much. So, as you said his Twitch, I was like, it's YouTube now. And actually, that gives me a great segue into all of our VODs from our streams will now be on YouTube as well. And it's ACC Sprint Series on YouTube. I haven't set the bot up yet to put a link to that, so if you want to subscribe to that, you can feel free to find us, and all of our VODs will be up on there. As Gareth's typing away to put the link in the chat for me, I assume. Or either that, or he's flaming the person that was flaming in the chat.
Both are possible.
People need to chill, though. I get it's frustrating, but some of those messages... Oh, that's a long line of numbers. I mean, if they both work, they both work. Well, engines are starting them.
They both don't work. My one works.
Wait, they both... See, I love getting involved in drama. Then when I call it out, people are like, let me see the drama. Which, to be fair, I'd be exactly the same position.
Yeah. Basically, Afik doesn't think he hit him and doesn't think he deserves a penalty. That's all you need to know. That's all that was said. It was just said in a fruitier fashion.
Honestly, I've just seen your message about Liverpool, then I've then updated my BBC News, and I'm actually ashamed. Right. Talk about fall from graces. Like, that is one fall from grace and a half. It's alright though, because I've got Watkins in my dream team and he scored a hat-trick, so that's... And I've got Salah in my dream team as well. So... No spoilies though, even though I've seen the score, I'm going to go and watch Match of the Day 2 after the race. Why can't I get... Oh, there's the broadcasting tool. I couldn't work out why I couldn't get onto it. There's been actually like loads of followers this evening. What are we on? 1, 5, 10, like 30 followers this evening alone. Like,
shout out to all the new followers. Unfortunately, you can't join the Discord at the moment. The Discord is meant mainly for organising the races, and we're cutting down on new members right now to stop us growing too fast. But make sure to follow the stream and keep checking us up, because we'll be here every week. At least every Sunday, and our channel will be hosting people also who are doing their POV. It won't be hosting JJTV anymore because it's not on Twitch, but we'll be hosting everyone else. So you'll get to see some other action from other races.
Juicy Melons, I'll put a message in the chat, but I'm scared that someone might shout at me because there's a few people in a few bad moods in that chat at the moment. So that's part of the rules. It's part of the rules at the end of the day is if you've had an incident, go and have a breather, go have a sit down, make yourself a cup of tea or whatever, and then come back and reevaluate it. And we already mentioned at the start, people make mistakes, and that is what the process form is there for.
It's my favourite story about Schumacher, when Ross Brawn was saying that Schumacher would come back and tell Ross Brawn what happened, and then Ross Brawn would show Schumacher the footage, and Schumacher would realise that wasn't at all what happened, and he was wrong. And he says that happens all the time with all sorts of professional racing drivers, that from the car it's hard to tell exactly what happened, and you need to calm down and then have a look at it afterwards with a fresh mind to really understand the incidents.
I know we're dipping in and out of the football talk, but my younger brother is absolutely like fanatic Liverpool fan, and has literally obviously grown into it he hasn't ever seen a loss this big in his life. Like, not that he can remember anyway. So literally the WhatsApp, we have like most people, we have family WhatsApp chats, and that's like my battery is now on 9% from like 80 at the start of this race, because it's just been going off of just absolutely slating all the Liverpool players. Oh, you can do what you like. When we went to British GT at Brands Hatch, got the Bloomfield and Webb got the pleasure of meeting him and my wife, and the whole race. Like, my brother, he enjoyed the racing and the noise of it, but all he wanted to see was a massive crash. And then the two literally he was saying it was a 2-hour race at Brands Hatch, and then it was a 2-hour race at Brands Hatch, and the whole time they went round T1, it was going crash, crash, crash. Last lap, the 2 Aston Martin GT4 teammates smash into the side of each other in front of him, and he's going absolutely nuts. But anyway, let's get that. Technically, we have gone back into racing talk. But we are about to go green then for race number 2. This is ACC Sprint Series. My name's Dan Terry. I'm joined by Gareth Ronda as we're about to go green into race number 2.
Green light, give it okay.
And I think then
again has just positioned himself better. Just knows the limits of the ACC system better.
We're getting a bit feisty. It's 4 wide further back. Bloomfield's had a great start, moves himself onto P4 side by side with Iverson. Then, he's looking at the inside of the Jag as well. There's a bit of contact towards the back as well. There's a car around the wrong way. Bloomfield's been spun by Iverson. There's even more chaos further back. Bloomfield's been spun. Sees the... a lot of the guy Bound's been
so many hits at the back. This is going to take the stewards a long time to go through. This is Friday's going to keep its reputation so far for being the best split by far, because that was a bit of a nightmare turn 1. That was an open lobby there a little bit.
I'm not too sure who got through, and let's see if turn 2 is any better. It was a little bit better, but then there's even bigger incident that's involved Seasland as well. De Bastos has got himself through. Maninka's through as well. We just need to let this settle down before we work out where we are. Bloomfield's returned to pits then. So I believe he must be completely out of race number 2.
Yep. Afik is still leading. He's done his same thing and got out, but this time for a bit different. Kieran Wright has managed to stay in second place and has made his own little gap from the guys behind. So this is going to be a difference, which will be fun to see. Kieran Wright getting to have a go at it. Hohenlocher is also still out, so we'll get to see him giving it a go. Iverson's still in 4th with Holm right behind him.
No, Steve survived. Steve is up to 13th. He's made 1 position. I don't know if he's got any damage. Bloomfield returned to pits. So yeah, we just let this settle down a little bit, just so we find out the true juxes of race number 1. And I kind of went silent because I was trying to make sure we got all the action on camera while you talked about it. So
there was a lot there. It's not going to be easy to do. So this is even more confusing. Worrell and Smith have done their same thing as... haven't done the same thing as last time, because this time they're in the same livery rather than opposite liveries. And then you have Williams in the opposite livery.
So your one to watch is up to P13. Mine is up to P9. I'm looking for a better result from both of these drivers in race number 2. So first lap is clear then. Afik is in the lead, right in 2. Hohenlotter in 3. Iverson's in P4. Jimmy Holm is in P5. Better start from him. He was caught out in race number 1. P number 6 is Ashley Hudson. P7 Max Diggs. Martinez P8. Travonovic P9. De Bastos is P10. That's how the orders. De Bastos started in 25th. So nice. I believe De Bastos may have used the runoff.
You should do it.
Yeah, it's there for a reason. It's there for incidents that we saw happen.
It's there for exactly those incidents, yeah.
So Albu is up to 28th and Jones is up to 22nd. As it looks like
we've got a nice pack here down from Clerk down to about Manika, I think.
We haven't got to worry about Smith anymore. He's had a spin through the Lesmos and he's put him into the last position on the grid. But the battle actually, this pack into the parabolic. There's contact.
Just did a huge dive.
Glover went for it and he comes into contact with Worrell.
That is ironic as fuck. And now Williams is going down the side of Worrell. He has less drive though. What's happened? He had the better position there, but he just absolutely didn't have the drive, and Worrell's just stormed ahead. I do not know if he thought he was maybe in trouble there and had to give back the position, or if he's got some sort of damage. But that was crazy. And now,
the Honda! Oh, the Lexus and the Honda!
He clearly braked earlier than anyone expected there, because 2 cars behind him had to dive out of the way. The Lexus going through the escape road and coming back in about where he was.
Kufon makes up a position.
That was a nightmare there. Monika still right behind Yannick, who must have some sort of damage, as now Kuthon is up there as well.
And Alvado's looking to get the position done on Sachs following the use of the escape road, and Jones has just tapped the back of the Lexus as well. Nothing gained there. Be good to see if he gets a 5-second penalty for consistency's sake.
The pit is now open.
Pit lane is now open.
So I don't like fueling discussions too much, right? I'm seeing the chat. I'm seeing that AM split is the new pro split. You got to realise the AM split, they're very nervous as they go into races. So as we noticed in rookie split last season, Spa, at the start, the whole field went 70 mile an hour up Eau Rouge and Radion because of the nerves in the team, or the nerves in the split. Whereas these guys are...
As clean as AM were, they were also literally stationary on the start line waiting for people
Oh,
in front.
there's a Ferrari. Is it Williams off the... No, it's not Williams. Who is it? Is it Worrell? Worrell off the track then. Trying to get round Clerk in the Porsche. The Porsche indicating right. I assume it's to pit for damage. Or if it is, it's a... Oh, and he's come into contact. He's hit the back of the Porsche was indicating, Steve. Steve, the Porsche was indicating, man. You knew where he was going. Oh, the replay's not far enough.
Sooner than he'd expected. And he just roars into the back there.
I like to defend Steve as much as possible because without him, this wouldn't be a thing. But yes, a lot of people. A lot of people do not look at the indicators. I use them. That's the only other car I've ever seen use them is that Porsche of Clerk. And he's indicating right effectively. For me, that would be he's indicating to go in the pit lane.
Yeah.
That would be logic for me. I mean, if you're not looking at him, you're obviously not going to know that, which is fair. Which is perfectly fair.
Yeah. That's almost definitely what happened. Is that he wasn't expecting to see anyone indicating, and he just is. He's done his practice. He knows. He's gone for
the slipstream on Clerk. Yeah, he's gone for the slipstream on Clerk, going down, coming out of the parabolica, and the Porsche has just slammed his brakes on to make the pit stop limiter. Just absolutely cascaded into the back of him. But moving on, we're going around the parabolica again. It's a battle for P2. Hohenlotter are all over the back of this Jaguar of Kieran Wright.
This has come out of nowhere, and Kieran Wright isn't even putting in slow laps from what I've seen. That lap there was a little bit slow, so it looks like, he's had a mistake on this lap, which has brought Hohenlotter in closer. But both of them been putting up pretty good moves. The Jag should be okay to defend from overtakes because its main strength is that straight line speed, so he's going to be pulling away a little bit. He's not going to get overtaken so much by the slipstream, but Hohenlotter really putting some pressure on here, so he's not going to have the sort of clean run that we were thinking he might possibly have gotten. Afik still in the low 148s, but not super far ahead of them.
He's been held up by the Lamborghini in front of him. I don't know if it's It might be Coulson. It might be Albu.
I believe it will be Albu because Coulson is in 10th place right now. So that is Albu, who is down in 27th. Getting out of everyone's way there.
And the Lexus of Iverson's trying to get onto the back of them as well then. So that Lamborghini's held up Afik a little bit. And actually, Wright's had a really good run through the Lesmos. And he's actually now looking at the back of Afik.
Yeah, he's definitely changed his battles. 3 and 4 aren't far behind, but Afik's not going to get a clear run again. And this time, even earlier, people are right on the back of him. He's going to have to make sure he has an absolute perfect pit stop, and that's if he can even hold the position in front of this, because the Jag is really showing its power on this track, just soaring up behind him into the Parabolica, and now he's got the run. If he can make it well through Parabolica, he's got the run down to the line. It looks like he's a little bit slower than Afik.
About to say, that looks like a line of the pits for me. And Hohenlochte has joined him as well.
Yeah, Afik sort of faked the pits a little bit there, but didn't end up doing it. Wright doesn't think he can make the move and is taking the safe option of just diving into the pits, but the safe option could be ruined if the Mercedes of Hohenlochte gets a better pit stop and gets out there in front of them. They both seem to enter the pits pretty well. So it all comes down to how they're doing.
And then we've got a repeat of race number 1 with Afik now, with Iverson now chasing down the Mercedes of Afik. There's more battles.
Alvarado has got a penalty, unfortunately. Your one to watch has picked up 10 seconds.
Hey, at least my one to watch is still in the race. That's a point to me, isn't it? That's 2 points.
I'm going to go back and delete the message where I talked about Steve in the chat so that it's just me talking about the Afik.
Hey, the amount you bragged last season for winning ones to watch, and I'm now up 2-0. Like, if this actually, no, I am, because Steve's retired, so even if Alvarado, we're doing it, boys.
That is fair. Who else has got penalties? I think it's a few of the guys who ditched out, maybe.
Yeah, I know Bloomfield picked one up. I think a couple of them are pitted with penalties as well.
Yeah, Bloomfield, Alvarado, and Barrett, who has pitted and has served his penalty. Those are the 3 who got penalties for the turn 1 incidents. Or at least some of the turn 1 incidents. Actually, I think a lot of these are turn 1 incidents. They go down pretty far. I was just about to say, Wright got. They both did decent pits. Looks like Wright's was slightly better. Got out in front of Hohenlochte. But Hohenlochte just actually threw his chance away as well on those fresh tyres. Went a little bit wide and was off onto the gravel. So he's now got a lot of work to do to catch up to Wright again. And Hohenlochte and Wright are now leading the race for those who have pitted in 22nd and 23rd. Iverson's fallen away. Iverson is not challenging Afik so much now. Afik is looking pretty nice.
No, Alvaro's just been given another 10-second penalty as he's in the pit lane as well. So I'm not sure if that's going to add on or it has cleared. So who knows? So we've got a little look who here is. We've got a battle with Barrett and Matamune ahead. They've both yet to pit. Matamune gets the job done on Barrett then. He's chasing up the road to Lyson. There's about 8 seconds to catch the back of that Nissan GTR.
Alvarado, it seems, had an incident with Smith and hit into the back of him, and that's what's given him his second pits or penalty there. A couple of cars getting penalties, all of them seeming to be for turn 1 and second chicane incidents where they just haven't braked for the car in front of them and have tapped into the back. So very sort of a few simple mistakes going in, but
yeah, definitely
been reasonably clean after that horrid first lap incident.
Oh, the pack ahead with it's a back marker, I believe. It's involved with it's the dodgy cameras through the coming into the Parabolica. It is a back marker of the Lexus.
I think you're talking about Carlson and Travonovic, though. Carlson going side by side.
The Carlson has got the job done on Travonovic. He moves himself up into P7, maybe with the help of the back marker of the Lexus there.
I think with the incidents in turn 1 and with so many people pitting early, this is starting to get a bit crazy here because we've got a lot of people on different laps. So we're constantly seeing packs of 3 or 4 cars that look like they're an intense battle, but are actually just 2 cars on different laps driving together.
So we've got Sachs battling with the Lexus for position, actually. It's a Lexus of Yelato with Lyson involved. So this is the battle further up the track from the one we were just chatting about.
Oh, this is a 3-man battle. Sachs not getting a great exit there from that corner.
That's not the right camera angle for that one. He's too close to the front of him.
Again, this corner, you really need to be alongside someone to make a move into there, so we're not going to see anything there. good braking by everyone, but the pack still closing up. A blue Ferrari there, who's had a little bit of a spinala on his own.
Feek's about to hit traffic as well. Well, it looks like he's about to hit a couple of cars battling for position.
He is in the Parabaga. He could dive into the pits now if he realises.
I've just seen the penalty of penalties from Mr. Penalty himself. Paul Glover speeding in the pit lane, picks himself up a stop and go 30.
I saw him in the pits as well. That's so upsetting. That's the most triggering one to get, because it's just instant. As soon as you made that mistake, you just come out the pits and you've got to go in again.
Paul Glover. I want to hear about this in your podcasting next week. No one cares about the weather or the fact you need to go to the toilet. People care about you getting stop and go 30s in a race where we're pretty confident going into it. Diggs is in the pit lane. Holmes in the pit lane. Travonovic is in the pit lane then. So a few of our faster drivers, Yolato, Sachs, Lyson, have all followed each other into the pit lane. It looks like they've actually come into contact with each other as well. Actually, it might have just been that Sachs had a closer pit box than the rest of them. So we'll have to see how, if you like to keep track of that one, see how that plays out. As a lot of our drivers are now finding the pit lane needs to find, but actually the gap has opened all the way up.
Pit lane is so full right now.
Yeah, there's so many drivers in there.
We have like 10 people in there. And there's barely anyone on the track now.
Right, there are loads of cars on the track, but there's no one really close to anyone.
No.
So let's go and have a look at this pit battle. Who was I saying it was?
Yolato, Sachs, and
Sachs is
Lichen.
moving.
Sachs has just started moving, so he's got the advantage. He's past Yolato and Lichen, so he had the
he's undercut both of them.
Yep, Yolato has just started moving. Lichen has just started moving. They're actually going to come out pretty much together. And it looks like Lichen has just started, so really good stop for Sachs and a pretty bad stop for Yolato, who is now last of that trio.
And they're a massive gap behind Sachs as well. Sachs is already round the front.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Sachs is already behind them in the he's all the way up to going around Curva Grande now, and the other two drivers are entering the first chicane. There's cars side by side there. The Honda of Barrett, I believe, and I believe he was fighting for position potentially with the Lexuses.
So we did not see this, but earlier on there was the Bentley and Lamborghini fight between Martinez and Hudson, and Martinez has scored himself a 10-second penalty for braking too late in turn 1 and spinning Hudson, who is now in P6. So that's going to drop Martinez a couple places possibly, and both are yet to pit.
I mean, we've now been... I can see in the chat, Steve is now in the chat, and I mean, in the nicest way possible, Steve, you killed a man this evening. You absolutely ruined him. I mean...
I'm sorry, we caught it on camera, Steve.
He's already at Zolder.
He's hopping on Flight Simulator right now to get over there.
He doesn't need to. He's hit so hard in the backside. His car's already done 3 laps of the track, bless him. Anyway, we move on then. We're looking on board with Alvaro. My one to watch this evening. He's in 23rd. He's actually lost... he's gained 1 position from where he qualified.
Interestingly as well, Iverson has now pitted, another one of our front runners to get out, and he has jumped Hohenlocher. So he's made up a position, but Wright is still in the lead of those who have pitted. And Afik now, we've got to see if he manages to do a good enough pit stop to come out ahead of Wright and Iverson. Yep, good shout in the chat. Taking a lot longer.
Sorry, there's another stop and go. There's another. It's for Kufan. It's these drivers that should know better as well.
Drivers from the first season, so they've had a whole season of doing this.
We've got endurance drivers and we've got well, not veteran, but actually, Paul Glover is a veteran. Veteran ACC stewards getting stop and go penalties for speed in the pit lane. None of our drivers that are new to pitting have gained a stop and go yet. As Jones started at the back of the grid, finds himself in 15th. And
That's at least, that is, as chat said, something we can at least say about Steve. Steve didn't technically wazza himself first time.
And Albu's up to 16th as well.
Yeah, he's taken a lot longer this time to get up the field after his incidents early on. He got caught up in, obviously, that big incident in turn 1, which he should have skipped by going down the escape road, but didn't. But he is now up almost into the points again. 2 point scorers from the back of the field would be incredibly impressive from Albu.
It's a fantastic drive from both of these drivers this evening. Kufon serving his stop and go. Now it's just Rafiq's joined the pits as well now. So it's 3 drivers left to clear their pit stops, I believe, with 4 minutes left of the pit when there's only 9 minutes left of the race. This race has flown by. We've had all the action at the start. Then Steve killing a guy. And then these 2 drivers are chopping their way through the course. And actually that stop and go has put Albu into the points. Let's have a look, see, as all these pit stops are clearing, where the battles are.
Afiq is in the pits, so this is where we're going to find it out. Right, really loose on the edge of Ascari there, is definitely pushing in order to try and make it through there. Afiq is number 4, so I'm going to keep my eyes glued to the map to see where number 4 is. Still in the pits, and it is... He has started moving, however.
The Jag is coming around Parabolica now.
So he's got the momentum, which means he'll be faster when he gets down to Afiq. I think the Jag's got this.
He might have done him here.
Jag has definitely got this, and Iverson is going to have a chance to dive as well into the first corner.
No, I think
Iverson's so much faster.
I don't think Iverson's going to have a chance.
Yeah, he's too far back.
But right then,
there we go. Wright is back in the lead.
Wright gets the undercut done. Now he's got to hold it out there for 8 minutes. He has the fast... Oh, he doesn't... No, he doesn't have the... Martinez! No, that's 48. Whew! I thought Martinez had a 48, a 47.5. It was a 48.5. So the Kieran Wright and Mohamed Afiq are on 147.8. Afiq's on a 147.85. So he's 4 100ths quicker than him for the fastest lap of the race so far. And these drivers need to start putting in piling the pressure in now. Martinez in the pits, but has got a 10-second penalty. No, he's not in the pits yet. He's yet to pit, but he's coming around the Parabolica now. Slams his brakes on. Gets it slowed down. He's the last car to pit. Matamuna gets a 30-second stop and go as well.
We have officially 3 so far. We have a chance for 1 more. Hopefully Martinez can manage to
I think he got it slowed down.
Mistake.
So we've now got a Jaguar in the lead. And we're going to have a very, very angry, might I add, Mercedes driving behind him to try and catch him. It's 2.1 seconds at the last timing beam. Let's see what it is as they come across the line to complete lap number 30, lap number 12, I think, actually. I've just seen his team name, the Orange Jaguar, as well. What a team name. What a drive, though. Right.
So Wright is on a 148. Afiq didn't have a great lap that time. Was that his? That
was his out lap.
Pits though.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the lap where we get to really compare their times directly. For an outlap, that's actually pretty fast already. Like I can already tell that's pretty good for an outlap, and you can see that he's within vision, and you can see he's pushing there because he's out off the track a little bit there.
So they have pit limiter, yes, but not auto engine off. Martinez then tucks in behind this battle for 8th position. No, 7th position even, I believe. Now the pits happens. The Bastos in the... Wait, is that a fight for position? It is. It just didn't look... It didn't look like a Aston there. It looked like a BMW for some reason. Rob, are you upsetting people? Let's have a little look at the rear view cam of the Bastos in the Aston Martin. Gets a little bit, had to let off the gas coming on the exit of the second chicane, just a little bit, or at least caught the curb, so his wheels started spinning more than it should have. Drops it down a couple of gears. Your band boys are so quick. You need to be. There's not many of you. You need to be friends. As Carlson's looking to make the move into Ascari, tucks in behind. He's following the probably the guidance, I would say, of his dear friend Albu, making the same, very similar. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Afik on Iverson in the last. So Afik's cut the gap down to 1.7 seconds. There's 5 minutes left of the race.
I did a 1:47.8 on that last lap compared to a 1:48.2 from Wright. So he's pushing, and he could make a play for this and make a little last lap Lando.
Who is this? Oh, sorry, pardon the yawn. This is the thing that this is the position that they were in, or Afik found himself in the last race as well, having to push. Yeah. And then, I mean, net code or mistake, whatever it was, then had the incident into the second chicane. Let's just reset the... driver of the day vote for the next one. Carlson still trying to get past the Bastos then for P7.
This does seem like the closest battle on track right now, as De Bastos gets a really strong exit from that corner.
Afik's down to 1.4 seconds, by the way, on right. We'll jump onto that battle shortly. But these two guys just going absolutely at it through... oh, wrong camera.
Trivanovic taking Jones for... Oh no, taking Rogers for P11. Shout out to him, making it up further into points. Albu is in 14th, so he is also strongly in the points.
I think the stop and goes have played heavily in his favour there.
Yeah, a lot of these fast boys just not quite making it, as Rogers looking for a way past the Enter Ascari, but not gonna happen.
Alvarado now defending for his life for P19 from the charging BMW that is Drozda. They go into Lesmos one. Nice clean line there from Alvarado. Like I said, mentioned earlier, he's on mouse and keyboard, and to be in, I mean, to be top 20 in pro split is just fantastic drive for him. Even with the penalties, he had a 20-second penalty, by the way, so he could have found himself in the points essentially. Definitely, yeah. As he covers the inside line, going down the straight into Ascari, grabs a load of curb as he on the entry. The Aston will just soak that up.
In fact, looking down at a lot of people in the lower 20s, there's a lot of names down here which you could say could have been in the points if they didn't get penalties. There's a ton of them. Well,
we've got our 3 stop and goes in 27th, well, 26th, 7th and 8th.
Just holding on to Alvarado through the Parabolica.
I think it's closing this gap down, by the way. It's now down to, you can literally smell the back of that Jaguar, the exhaust fumes of the Jaguar as they come into the Parabolica. He looks like he might even put in a fastest lap for himself if the Delta's anything to go by. See as he comes through Parabolica.
They're both up on their Delta, both very near their fastest laps of the race. So they're really pushing to make this the last lap.
This will be the last lap as well.
Yeah. 147 flat for Afik on that lap.
Afik is after this pole position. He's angry. He needs it. As we see Jones battling alongside Albu, then as we go into Ascari, the Bentley hugs the inside line, gets the Albu, lets him go. And this battle for, well, essentially for P11, it's a 4-way battle now between Rogers, Trivanovic, Jones and Albu. Sachs is about 6 seconds off the pace and not much to play with. Lyson's the back marker there behind. Trivanovic looking around the outside as we go into the Parabolica. Not a lot we can see there. We're going to have to jump back to this battle for the lead, I'm afraid. Because, I mean, I think, it's the same spot as the last race. It's the same.
That one, though, was just...
he nearly makes the same...
As well.
He nearly makes the same mistake twice.
Well, he was coming out of the corner that time just a little bit hot because he's really pushing here. It's one of the sort of awkward things about watching this is that I saw Rafiq's delta looking bad. And I thought, oh, no, he's got a bad delta. That means he's going slow. And I realised, well, no, that still would have been fastest lap of the race if he did that last race.
Yeah.
Because delta is going up against the fastest time possible
now.
now.
Rafiq's looking for the inside for Ascari. Can't quite get it on the brakes.
Oh, no.
I think that's the opportunity gone.
That's it. Oh, and that's so sad as well because that's a man driving angry there because you don't like Ascari is such a hard place to go through. I think he should have just followed through there and gone for it in Parabolica. That was an aggressive move and he was just pushing a little bit too hard. But excellent drive overall in the last section of this race from Rafiq. Going to come across the line second in this race.
And Kieran Wright then takes the lead, takes the win even. For race number 2, Rafiq in 3rd, Iverson in 4th. We're going to jump back down to this battle, this train of cars even, as we head towards Ascari. It's Albu. Look, Albu's made up a ton of positions here. He's got past Jones. He's looking at the inside of Travonovic. Eats a load of curbs. So does Travonovic on the inside though. How much better of a line is Albu going to have? He looks like he's got the run on Travonovic.
Yeah, he's close. He's got the drafts. He's come out. Ooh. Side by side into the Parabolica. This is entirely going to be on braking.
Oh, there's no decent camera angle.
Well,
they touch.
Too close.
Oh, they touch, and Travonovic has spun round, and that's given the position to Jones then. Jones is going to move himself up into P11 then for that incident between the Lamborghini and the Ferrari of Travonovic. That's really unfortunate there.
Yeah, and I think... you know, we can't be sure yet, but I think Albu's going to get a penalty for that. It really looked to me like he just turned in as if the other car wasn't there anymore and gave him the big tap on the side. So
and Smith's got past Alvaro though as well going into the Parabolica. So do the top 10 in a quick second. So driver of the day, let's open that up very shortly. There you go, driver of the day.
Smith and Alvarado are just making their own racetrack over here. Neither of them were on the track at all there. So they both come across the line as the finishers in the top 20, so shout out to them.
So there we go then. Race number 2 is over. We'll get the top 10 in the chat. So if you want to vote for Kieran Wright, it's P1. Rodrigo Iverson is P2. Mohamed Afiq is... Hang on. How's that worked? Oh, Afiq's left. Kieran Wright is P1. Afiq is P2. Iverson is P3. Hohenlock to P4. Holm in P5. Diggs in P6, Coulson P7, Hudson in P8, De Bastos in P9, and Martinez in P10. You can vote now in the chat and give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts, straight off the rip thoughts for race number 2. Gareth, why I update the names?
That was a good one. It was really messy at the start, and there was even quite a few messy moments throughout the race. It's unfortunate to see some of our fan favourites getting in incidents like that. I'm sure Albu is not going to keep that. He might only get a 5-second penalty, and if he does, he will still keep points from this race, which, even with just 15th both races, is incredibly impressive for someone who started literally at the back of the field, and in the first race started from the pits. If you remember. So
yeah.
That's an incredible job there. Jones in the Bentley, also 12th. He was fighting with Albu essentially that whole race because they both started from the back. So huge shout outs to both of those guys. Shout out to Wright for driving the Jaguar, which no one else drives. Even if this is the Jaguar's best track, it was still incredibly impressive. Didn't manage to do it in the first race, but in the second race, absolutely bossed it. Afiq had some... incredible drive overall, but just bad moves at the end when he was getting a bit caught up in the pressure, and not the best pit stops from him. So following what we know about Afiq, which is that he has the pace, he is an incredible driver,
definitely.
But he just gets caught up a bit in the stress of the actual races, and his racecraft could be improved a little bit. Hohenlocher and Iverson incredibly consistent, both races right up there behind the absolute beasts. So huge shout outs to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the drivers shown a really good light on themselves this evening. Like I said, Albu, Jones in particular. We know Albu can do what he did. Like we know Albu is quick, and we knew that was on the cards, getting from essentially the last to first challenge, essentially, or as high as he could go. But Jones in his first championship race, effectively, had an absolutely fantastic drive. So the driver of the day then for race number 2 is going to be Mr. Kieran Wright. A fantastic showing from him. That's basically going to lead us out for the evening. That's about all we've got left to say or do, Gareth. I mean, it's flown by really quickly, to be honest. That second race, or blink and you miss it. But there was so much to discuss. Like obviously, like I said, Steve absolutely killing the guy into the pit lane. But yeah, a lot of.
I'm definitely going to be watching that Twitch clip afterwards.
Yeah. So like I said, we have had to get rid of the boom replays. But if you want to go back and have a look at any of the clips, clip anything you want, then you can use in Discord. You can put it in the Twitch clips channel, and that will add it to that. But I mean, anything to add this evening, Gareth?
No, just good races. I'm very excited. Everyone likes to talk about Monza T1. But I think the next race at Zolder with this many cars is going to be a nightmare. So I'm looking forward to that.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much to all those that joined us for the first time this evening. We had nearly about 30 followers, which is a fantastic show. Like I said, the first proper stream since all of you guys have rejoined the Discord as well. So it's great to see a load of you guys in the chat and a load of you guys following the stream. Thank you to all those that have subscribed, resubscribed, and gifted bits to, or added, gifted Wife Coin to the Bank of Wife Coin. And we will see you same time, same place next week. Well, different place. Same time, different place next week as we head to the hopefully rainy streets of Zolder. But thank you very much for joining us this evening, and we will catch you in the Discord this coming week. Good luck. See you later.
Thoughts, emotions swirl.